And so now we have our opportunity to introduce some more of our special guests from the Eastern Band of Cherokee. I want to welcome up to the stage Shana Bushyhead Condill. She's the executive director at the Museum of the Cherokee Indian. Give her a round of applause. And then also Stephen Yerka, the historic preservation specialist from EBCI. He was the one who gave us the fabulous GPS specialist workshop yesterday during our track 1 and track 2. So both of you, it is your time to come on up. I see everybody's back there getting the coffee. You better not take the last of the coffee because I see you guys back there.
Shio Nagad. Can I get a Shio? Thank you. Good to see you. First of all, I just have to say, Bo, I'm so grateful for you on 100 levels. The work he does as an Eastern Band archaeologist for our tribe, we can't thank him enough. So thank you. Can I get another round for Bo? Welcome to the Qualla Boundary. We are so pleased to welcome you to our Cherokee ancestral homelands. Has anyone been here before? Yes, welcome back. To our Cherokee and Southeastern relatives, welcome home. I want to thank our THPO and the fantastic folks at NATHPO for inviting us to participate. It's an honor. Thank you also to all the sponsors. I want to shout out Cherokee Preservation Foundation, the Center for Native Health, and particularly to Chief Sneed's office. Chief Sneed has been a steadfast and unwavering in his support of our work, even when they may face pushback as a result, and we're grateful. I said it's an honor to be asked to participate in hosting you all here, and I use that word with all the emphasis I can give it. I arrived in my position just under 2 years ago and was fortunate to inherit an incredibly talented Director of Education, Dakota Brown. One of the first things she did was introduce me to our THPO office. She fully understood and understands the alignment of our purpose and the benefit to collaboration. We rely on their expertise weekly and sometimes daily. As the only federally recognized tribe in North Carolina, and there are no federally recognized tribes in Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, we are asked to consult on a daily basis. And when I use the word consult, Yerka, I'm talking about museum to museum consultation, not an official NAGPRA consultation, which is what they do. There is a difference. We are dedicated to making ourselves useful in empowering our THPO's work, though. Whatever we can do to bring down barriers to the vital work they do is first and foremost on our agenda. So when they ask us to join them on just about anything, the answer is easy. And to have the opportunity to participate in this conference was a quick yes. I can't think of a more meaningful and purposeful conference than this one. I'm honored to share space with each of you. I admire and am grateful for your work. You do work that is dangerous, that many times should never have been necessary, and work with your communities to correct atrocious wrongs. I am so pleased this opportunity exists for everyone to come together, learn from each other, and help us rewrite this work from a Native perspective. I want to take just a minute to talk about how we work at the museum with our THPO. As a museum, we have the opportunity and responsibility to be a public-facing institution and dive into topics that are important to us in Indian country. And many times, we share those topics with our THPO, who are decidedly and intentionally less public-facing. When I arrived, we were fairly certain that we had ceremonial and funerary objects on view in our museum. After a reorganization at the museum, I added a column dedicated to collections care and was able to hire Evan Mathis, who is our Director of Collections and Exhibitions. We conducted an inventory 1 month after he started, and we were able to ask Bo Carroll to come in from our THPO to help us identify objects that needed to come off view. We knew we would have empty cases, so we had a choice. Do we leave them empty? Which is a teachable moment in and of itself. But Dakota and Evan advocated for an artist intervention. So they asked Cherokee artists, who represent both the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians and Cherokee Nation, to respond to those empty cases. Disruption is the result. 36 contemporary Cherokee artists answered that call. I'm so happy so many of you were able to come to see the exhibition yesterday, and you are all welcome to come when you have a moment this week. Each installation of contemporary art within the typical and expected timeline of how our Native story is usually told is a disruption to that timeline. It requires the visitor to pause and acknowledge that we are still here. I believe contemporary art can be that bridge, that human connection that helps our non-Native visitors hear the story we want to tell. It is also, and perhaps most importantly, the representation that our community is proud of. Disruption is a temporary fix, a Band-Aid as we reconsider the entire exhibit, but it is a powerful way for us to set the table. The interpretation panels explain NAGPRA, repatriation, that looting still happens today, and the importance of self-representation. This exhibit will absolutely inform the work we do as we continue to research and develop our new galleries. Disruption is one example, but our museum staff has many more examples of collaborating with our THPO. NAGPRA guidance, assistance in ethical repatriations, vetting potential collaborators, and as an integral partner as we design and build our offsite collections facility. We are grateful for our partnership. You all do vital and urgent work protecting our sacred sites, bringing ancestors home, and sharing your expertise. Thank you will never be enough. But know that your work is seen and we are indebted. We would love to host you all at the museum anytime this week. Please feel free to drop by and show your badge. You'll receive free admission. And we are very excited to share some Cherokee food and culture with you tomorrow night. We look forward to seeing you there. Shki.
Yeah, I don't think I could say anything better, we can't really say enough about how much effort the museum has put forth and helping us work and put this stuff on. As Shana mentioned, here at the THPO, we don't normally do like public events and work with folks. And you probably all know I'm just much more comfortable talking about like tech geeky stuff. And I think Bo's better at answering questions than me or anything, but we've really enjoyed this invigorated relationship, this collaboration that's going on with our office and the museum, the opportunities like Bo was talking about to possibly, invent a new form of education about rock art and getting folks excited about that stuff. It's not always easy. And we kind of joke about the whole time tunnel interpretation. You've all been there, right? The Paleo Indian period, they made stone points that look like this, and then they made points that look like this. And so to me, that's what's exciting. I think that's sort of the common thread in my stuff is doing cutting edge stuff. I like cutting edge technologies, bleeding edge technology. And like kind of unfortunately, this form of collaboration is cutting edge. It shouldn't be, but it is in some sense. So, I'm just very happy and very proud to be part of working with these great couple teams. We've got a great team at the THPO. If we can get folks to just sort of say, we got Russ Townsend, our THPO officer over there, Miranda, our NAG officer, Joe High, our sites keeper, and Steve Long, preservation assistant over there. And we appreciate everything they do. And we've introduced some of the museum here, and I shouldn't go through everybody's name because I can just get it all tongue-tied right now because Slee is looking at me and I'm like, now I'm blanking. But for the museum and the THPO, everybody give a hand. Come on. That's I don't know what else to add. We're very grateful. NATHPO has been great to work with to get here. We're very excited to have folks here. I know it's one of the things we love to do is be hosts, and we hope everybody's having a great time. And again, please check out the museum if you didn't have a chance on the tours. And again, Shana, to you and your staff, thank you all really so much for helping us to do this. It means a lot to us, and we're just excited to watch it all go down. I don't know if you got anything else, Bill?
Keep it short because I talk way too much. I was surprised when the museum had started doing this. I'd probably worked for the tribe maybe six years before all this started taking place. I go to universities, my own university. I go to institutions and I see the artifacts they have on display. I try to explain to them like these items don't belong to you. I try to explain to them the context that they came from. It's not right. I try to get them to see my point of view without coming off as angry as I am that they do this stuff in the first place. But every time I'm talking, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I'm waiting for somebody to say, well, doesn't your museum do the same thing? And if they would have said that, nobody, thankfully, thought about that. But if they would have said that, I wouldn't have been able to answer. But now I can say, no, we don't do that. And I mean, if you don't believe me, you can go visit the museum because we're doing things different now. The things that came out of certain contexts, they're going back where they belong, and that's I think what I strive for on my job. That's my main goal. I want to get those people and those items back to where they came from. That's, I think, my most important job. So working with the museum is just, it's been great. It doesn't seem like you're working it doesn't seem like you're working as much. It's not as hard to do the job that you're doing. And it helps tremendously to have more people helping. Yeah, thank you.
If anybody has any questions, I'm not really sure what's next. I don't have the agenda in front of me. I know, am I supposed to introduce something? Are we moving to a break or a lunch or? But does anybody has any questions or wants to talk about anything? I'm standing in front of a microphone, clearly. That's about all I got. I'm not sure what the next. It's, oh, here we go. And let's welcome up our executive director of NATHPO, Valerie, who I'm sure knows what's happening next, and I clearly don't. Were we supposed to fill more time, Valerie? I'm sorry. I don't do good preparing anything, and I had no idea. So please, Valerie, come on up.
No, is this thing up? Hello?
Oh, scratch it. Don't.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you're on.
I'm on. Well, we wanted to allow some additional time for questions if folks had any for you all. No?
I guess I'm kind of curious, like, do we have any other THPOs here? And do y'all have museums that you work with, or anybody had that kind of experience? I'm sure we all do. You guys have good, close relationship. It's important, right? Because I do think like that's the thing. I'm busy answering emails certainly most of the time. So, you know, we don't really get the opportunity to get out there. And so it's super important to have a place that we feel like can interact with the public and specifically the tribal public here, right? And see the hard work that like Bo and everybody's doing. So.
All right. No worries. So I can skip to some comments that I had planned to deliver during our lunch hour, and that will give you a little more time to talk to each other at that time. And then right before we go into lunch, I will introduce our partners from the Wilderness Society who have a brief presentation for you all about a photo project they did. And during the lunch hour, we will keep those photos scrolling as well. So I wanted to say a little bit more so you can get to know me. Many of you have not met me before. It's been a very busy few years since I started at NATHPO. I actually attended the NATHPO conference in 2018, which was the last one that we had in person. And so I had a chance to meet a few of you there. And I was on a panel at that time about a project that's taken on a new life in the past few years. And we're going to be talking about that during our Thursday morning session and workshop. I was at NOAA at the time, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Project was funded by BOEM, Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, characterizing tribal cultural landscapes. And it's something that we've picked back up to push from the NATHPO perspective, and BOEM is also picking the project back up again and running a continuation of that. And the panel at the 2018 NATHPO conference, I half jokingly said at the end of it, I was actually unemployed that year, that I was in the market for a job. And that was also the conference where Bambi announced that she was leaving. Is Bambi here? I've seen Bambi. Can you stand up, Bambi? Hello. Bambi read NATHPO for 20 years. This is the 25th anniversary of NATHPO this year. And it's so great to have you back here, Bambi. Thank you for everything that you did to make sure that it got to that point, and we're here today. So she announced that she was leaving during the 2018 conference, and I was there when that happened, and I thought, good luck to whoever gets that job. Be careful what you wish for. We frequently say that THPOs have all the needs and that THPOs wear many hats. And we've been working really hard to create programming that's responsive to that. And it's an ongoing effort. One of our biggest strengths is the community of THPOs. So we've also been working really hard to help build that community as much as possible during COVID. And I just can't overemphasize how excited we are to be back here in person with you to continue that effort. I wanted to talk a little bit about some new partnerships that we've had. You're going to hear from one of our partners during a lunchtime presentation after you get your food and get seated again. The Environmental Law Institute has, we've been doing a collaborative project with them that we're excited to feature here. Our new relationship with THPO Talk, we're excited to continue and grow that. Such an amazing resource. The Wilderness Society, you're going to hear from some of our partners there. And this next presentation, we've also collaborated with them on a guide to renaming offensively named places. And we have another series of projects ongoing with them looking at co-management agreements. Kelly Jackson, who was our music last night and will be doing one of our sessions this afternoon, has also been working on that project with us. Areas of critical environmental concern, a designation that BLM has that could be used to better protect Native places. And then also Land and Water Conservation Fund funding and how to better get some of that in the hands of tribes to do the work that we all know that you need to do. And also with the Wilderness Society, we've established our first ever mini grants program to give checks directly to THPOs for the work that you need to do. We ran that last year and we'll actually be renewing that for the coming year. And we'll talk a little bit about that on Friday and have a chance to hear from some of our inaugural grant recipients about what they did with their funding. And we're really excited about that. We're getting some new and renewing agency agreements that have supported workshops and webinars to provide information and resources to you, since you do have all the needs. And there's such a wide range of needs that you have. And much of that expertise is coming from you, the community of THPOs. And so we're grateful to be able to better connect folks nationwide and help get answers to the questions that you all have from each other. We also have a new website in the past year or two, and we also hope that that can continue to be a growing resource where we can put some of that information, connect you all with each other and answers to your questions. And so we always appreciate feedback on that and what you would like to see differently there. If there's anything else that you need. Advocacy, our biggest area of advocacy in Washington, DC for you is THPO funding. And this year we've seen the biggest success that we've seen in a really long time. And we're hoping to build on that in the coming year. The congressional appropriation was 44% more for the THPO line of the Historic Preservation Fund. And so I just wanted to give it and acknowledge that. That was really hard fought. And it makes a real impact on the ground for you all. And it's just the beginning, we hope, of starting to close that gap of the need that you have for operational funding for staff. We continue to work with a number of agencies on actions and rulemakings that they have ongoing. We're going to hear about a number of them here, some directly from agency folks and some more from the THPO perspective. Again, hearing from you all what you want to see happen in these things. And then finally, the land initiative, I'm going to have a presentation on that myself while I'm here. And you've heard me talk about that before. That is the land area and name directory, a geospatial database that we're going to be creating from scratch starting this year with some DOI funding. And we'll have an outside GIS hire that we're going to advertise and make in the coming months. And then putting together a couple of tiers of tribal advisory and working groups so that you all are the decision makers for this new tool that is intended to help serve your needs in this space. And those are all of the programming updates that I have. So if our partners from the Wilderness Society are here, I hope, then we can go ahead and go into the photo project. Is our Jill or Kim Smith here, who will be doing our Wilderness Society photo project? Wow, crickets. Okay, well, why don't we take a little break? We do have lunch coming up soon, but let's go see if we can find those speakers and get that queued up for you. Thanks, everyone.